NCP, so it's not going to be the exact same rosters you saw last time around. We're in Division 2. Envy had pretty much half of their roster just completely wiped and then redone, and then you also have NCP just even more so. I think only about 4 of the initial members from NCP are actually competitors that are from Division 1 Season 5, so it's going to be Mo, though, and he's the staple, as you put it beforehand. He is the guy for NCP. It is his team. He is the captain. He's going to be spawning over at the bottom side, now checking over at top. He does manage to find Cerezia, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does leave this chase and does not commit, as typical Ghoul stand-still gameplay is just to get your tag first off the rip and then look for somebody else on the map, as we do see Slay just kind of trying to stealth out Mo there and doing so successfully, which may lead Mo to believe he has to commit this chase here over at main, and that is a very, very quick chase. Oh, that's probably sub a minute, definitely. So already looking a little bit shaky for the survivors over at Envy, not being able to cross, and just Bug getting caught in a very unfavorable position. Mango straight back on a generator there, and now survivors are able to make their rotation through the cross point down into the bottom section of the map, nice and far away from that once corrupted area. If we look at the gen spread, we do have a 4-gen at bottom side, and I think everything's still in a fair, tight cluster over at top as well, so some favorable gen spawns, but what can we make of it? As far as our killer goes, Mo now just using those tentacles to get back over to the top half of the map. He's going to be protecting his hook, all while simultaneously trying to push those survivors off gens. As for build, we have Corrupt Intervention, Pain Resonance. I do believe I saw Thanatophobia and some other perk that I quite can't get a glimpse of, as we are spectating Slay just being pushed off this gen and being slapped through the pallet. That's that 100 plus ping coming in there, as this is an NEA versus OCE matchup. Mo now just in such a good position to set himself up for the mid game, is just able to really put pressure on every single instance in the map where the gens have been worked. He basically just knows, and there's the reason why we say Mo knows, is just he knows where the pressure is. He knows exactly when to leave as well. No real reason to keep on just sniffing out over at bot. He wants to go back for that tunnel out nice and early, but he has lost them momentarily. We are going to be spotting out Ellie, who is just caught here over at top and now forced to chase top as well. But Mo just happy to take that tag and run straight down to the bottom, where potentially he can get his second down of the trial.
Yeah, I think what Mo is obviously looking for right now is a bunch of tags to get his Thanatophobia at full effect. It's 2% per injure, and then a maximum of 20 once everybody in the game has an injury. But we're also not really opting to tunnel right now, because I think Mo is favoring his gens over that initial tunnel out onto Bug, even though he has that first hook and got it quite early on. The 4-gen bottom is something he really, really wants to hold on to, and it's going to be so difficult to break, and more detrimental to our survivors now, as obviously Shack Pallet was dropped very early into the trial. Playing safely in this 4-gen is going to prove to be more and more difficult. And speaking of playing safely, Mango now forced into 50s on this Pallet 7, unfortunately loses the very first one. No money for him on the day, as you were mentioning yesterday. But what's really problematic now is we're going to have a hook inside of that 4-gen, and that's going to prove to be very difficult for our survivors to get him out. Mango now will be in this hook bottom mid tile, and the two survivors on the top side, Neri cannot afford to be found, having reset themselves with self-care all the way at 5 edge. If Neri gets found here, things could be very problematic. We do get pop on the gen at 5, and Mo isn't going to look around just yet. Knows that he doesn't really need to afford any time wasting on the bottom side just yet. He's pretty aware of the fact that a lot of survivors were probably on the top side, and if Ellie is spotted here at 10, a tag could prove detrimental. But Sprint Burst does buy us a little bit of distance before the tentacles are able to grab onto us. The Kagune mark comes on out, and that will reapply Mo's Enrage as he heads back to the bottom side. And Neri, now not on a gen, most likely rotating for this unhook, but Mo aware of it all, making sure that that unhook cannot come out for free. Bug, the only person on a gen all the way at 11 now, but he's working through Thanatophobia. That is going to be now 6% slower, and we do see, I believe there was somebody rotating in for that unhook in the background, but no, actually, I am mistaken. We're just going to have to potentially leave Mango to go to second with these two tags and Bug all the way at 11. I don't think we're going to get this hook in time, Hunter.
No, I don't think we are. We are going to be winning that stun, though. Slay now trying to make do with whatever chase resource we can possibly use. That is 11 being done, which was the furthest generator from the hook there, which is why Bug was able to just kind of sit it and not really give a care in the world. And Mo just opting to leave the chase there and unexpectedly getting a Kagune mark onto Cerezia or Bug. He does not make the window, unfortunately, does not have enough distance to do so. Mo still able to keep control of this match, and the survivors, when you pan over to them and you see them just in corners where they're trying to stealth out, they look scared. They look like they can't really put the front foot and just go for the gen potion, which they definitely should be doing. I've seen too many instances where we're just sacrificing the game progress all for naught. Look, we have 2 survivors off the gens as it currently stands, and I know we're trying to stealth out Mo for when he goes for those rounds check over at the generators, but we're sacrificing all of that pressure that we could be having in a scenario like this. Ellie going down straight in front of the hook too. That's going to be another hook at the top portion of the map. All in the meantime, we're getting a self-reset by Slay, who is going to be healthy in a moment there, but it's looking really rough. Mango really trying to slam out that gen over at bottom. Mo knows that. He is going to be going back to mid and just trying to at least sight the gen. He doesn't have to commit to it. We know it's Shaq. He will know just moments, in a few moments, sorry, that it is Shaq, given the fact that he has no line of sight on anybody else over at 7 or 5. But after that pull happening, we are going to be taking the chase back onto Slay, who just healed themselves not too long ago, getting that unhook in front of Mo's face, so everybody up in the trial once more. But we really do need a good chase from here on out, and I just haven't seen one at the moment. It's just been rinse, repeat tags, unnecessary tags, and just downs after downs, and even just the pain resonance not being calmed by the team effectively there. That's going to result in Mango screaming off his generator, going to give up his position if Mo has a keen ear, which we know he definitely does. Mo definitely knows. And we are going to be winning 150 by Bug, but not unfortunately winning the second 50. He's going to be going down over at the corner of 1. Again, Ellie just stealthing for that pull preemptively, is currently out of the match. Mango able to get that generator done, and just before the death onto Bug. It's probably in their best interest to start flipping the map here, as we have been hooked at the top portion. This is where you want to be staying for chase and just slamming out that gen over at bottom. But at the same time, Mo has the potential to also press you off the gen and then force you into the bottom half of the map, where you're forced to play the other side if he doesn't commit over at top. So it's looking, I don't know, it's just, in all honesty, even I'm struggling to kind of think of the counterplay here, as we do slap the pallet into Mo's face. Mango is going to buy himself just enough time to run around the rock and use the pallet again once more, but stops and sacrifices all the distance he bought himself, unzoning himself in the map. Just back to the shack though, so we don't have access to the pallet, as it was thrown in Slay's chase way earlier on in the trial, but we do manage to get the tag onto Mango, who's just running into 8 now, trying to use this filler pallet to the best of his ability. Extra patience there, and we know he's the survivor that's on the least amount of ping. Winning that stun is absolutely crucial for that gen over at 12 top to get done. I believe it was over at main, so close enough. But we are going to be going down just after the throwing of the pallet over at 8, which is in the corner of 7. We can at least pull it back to the 4K2, and I think that's what the survivors are planning for. After 3 dashes all the way down to the top portion of the map, we are going to be able to catch up the survivors after popping this gen, but I don't think the game will progress from here on out here, Chief.
Yeah, what's really concerning is obviously now we do see Ellie immediately into chase, but SB's to a safe pallet. The pallet is now dropped stuck in 50s, and it's going to be up to Ellie to win a few. We have to win as many as possible to buy enough time for Slay to rotate for that pickup. And to be fair, they have already crossed the mid-map. Ellie's going to win this vault quite nicely, and the ping will not bite us in the butt. But this is still our only pallet we really have remaining. We saw a lot of the pallets around the 10-side throne, so we are just going to be stuck here forever. The vault does come out. No vault back to buy us some safety, so to the locker we go. We're trying to force. I'm not too sure we're going to make it in time, because the ping, yeah, is really, really nasty. So the slug from Mo now will come out, but buying enough time, Ellie has the rage. The in-rage has ended, so Mo will be a bit slower. It's going to take him so much longer to traverse the map, and because of that, Mango and Slay are now both on their feet. We do see Slay crossing up that 5 side as Mango is playing towards 8, but right now Mo's objective is to make sure the survivors cannot cross the 3. The longer he keeps them bottom side, the more likely he is to be able to get it down as they rotate out of position. And I think Mo knows that preventing this rotation is exactly what he needs to do right now. Mango will be marked with a Kagune mark, and then Mo will be heading back to 3, ensuring that Neri cannot cross for free. Caught out on the bottom side of this 3 tile, gonna have to play their chase as Mango desperately tries to cross. The fast fault has been missed, and that does mean Slay will be on the ground, and I don't think there's much Mango can do in this position. He's only at the cross now, and with this pick at least, I think he's going to be able to get to the top side, but I'm not too sure how much further he'll make it. Mango actually instead opting to stealth to the bottom, I think could potentially be playing for a hatch escape already, which would at least buy us that minus 0.5 hook state penalty, ensuring that if we were to match the result on our killer side, we could win through that. And instead, actually, Mango does have access to this medkit. He will reset himself and maybe use that extra health state to cross up to the top side. I don't think Slay will be getting off this hook hunter, but Ellie could still potentially be back in the game.
Yeah, maybe she is still on the floor, and it just matters where she's crawled off to as the slug. Actually, she's just right in front of Mo, so I don't think that will be happening underneath any circumstances. We are going to be hooking her over towards the top portion of the map. We are going to probably cut off the rotation as well if we manage to get the hook quick enough. We've even, just dropped back on the floor, as we have seen Mango just trying to get that pull, or trying to predict that Mo would hook, and then we could just get it for free, but no. He's denied that. Actually, hold on a second, I was a little bit confused. Wait, we picked up Ellie instead, and we actually get the pull. So 2 survivors left back in the trial. They are still fighting for that last gen, the 4K one. That's their mission right now. Mo's able to down Mango as a result, but now also has to go back and down Ellie and down Slay just to recollect the match back. So really top tier stuff from Mango to be able to pull it back into the survivor's grasp. Ellie now just has nothing over 11. This edge map is just bold as hell, and we're just going to be going down after the rock there. Now Mori's going to be slugging because he knows that they don't really have, Ellie doesn't really have any chance of crawling back to a position where we don't know where she is. She is just off in the corner. She only has 2 directions to crawl to, so she's pretty easy to find later on if we do manage to get the slugs over at bottom or mid. But we're really trying to sniff out where did Slay go, and they're just kind of hiding around the lockers, not quite in the lockers right now, but they're going to be caught out momentarily, and we're trying to play the check spots there, but ultimately losing it over at the matchstick tiles, going down at 3. Mango just trying to slam a gen in the meantime, in the downtime, so I wonder if Mo will pick up onto this. Does he go back for 11 anticipating the pickup, or does he know they're going for the gen pressure? Mo just knows they're going for the gen pressure. Why not? He's trying to just catch out Mango, who would be rotating right about now. Yeah.
We have gone to 8, which has at least bought us some time. Mango obviously now stealthing towards 6. Does mean that the game is not over yet. The 2v1 will be very, very difficult to break Hunter, but it's still possible. Mango has been... Did he just get grabbed onto behind that tree? No, sorry. The screen share for us is a little bit on the lower end of quality. So I thought Mango got grabbed onto there and was somehow accidentally found, but instead he will be found here at 4. His rotation has been caught out, Hunter, and that will spell an end to the game. A 4K2 if things are to end here and now.
Why did we tag him with Kagune? We could have just body blocked him. There was no pallet in that vicinity and just ended power and just went for the M1 down. Instead, we gave him a little bit more distance to where he potentially could pick up Ellie, but it would be very unlikely so, as we do try to bait him out here over at the Orman filler. It does not work out in our favor. We'll be going down after the window, so that will be the 4K2 solidified for Mo. Doesn't matter if Ellie bleeds out because all remaining hook stages will be awarded to Mo, considering the fact that Ellie would be a full sacrifice at that point and has already been hooked. So it's not something we've never seen before, 4K2, but it's not something that we anticipate on a set like this when we're meant to be pulling mid to high tier stages. This is a strong killer, but it's not the strongest killer. Most is playing extremely well. Even the fact that we have brought Thanatophobia,
We have a lot to take away from it.
Yeah, Blight for the tiebreaker as well on less than Suffocation Pit 1. Shocker. But,
We're back.
Yeah, we're so back, but at least it's not Cold Tower. You have to wait a little bit in the night for that one. Regardless, we're going to be seeing Cerezia or Bug spawn exactly in the same position as Mo, or pretty close to it from last trial. So he's now going to be covering his ground over in the middle and going all the way down to the top, see if we can sniff out the survivors nice and early. Now, we did manage to spot out our first chase very, very quickly last time around, so you'd kind of want to match that if you're trying to get the same result as the killer in the previous trial, which we have done so very nicely. This is going to be Jiang Banya, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I will try to my damn hardest, otherwise we'll have to just refer to them as the current survivor they are playing. That being, I do believe, Zarina, because I'm not too familiar with the skins, and it's a little bit blurry on my end because crapnet, but regardless, I think we've just opted to leave for Bug. He doesn't want to overcommit anything after a failed Kagune tag. He does still have 3 dashes in hand to try and spot out his next survivor here over at bot. But it seems like there's a lot of corrupted here. And oh wait, we're even going for the cheeky ruin cleanse underneath his nose. Do we pick it up? Surely you leave this chase and go check the bottom half of your map, Bug. But no, he's opted to commit this, which is a little bit unconventional from the stereotypical typical Ghoul gameplay you usually see amongst OSLs. We do pre-drop the pallet here. Hurricane still in chase. That is our totem gone. I do believe that was ruined, so I don't think we brought any other perk that could be broken with a totem. Yeah, look at that. We do have Pain Resonance and Eruption, so a lot more stock standard from what we were discussing about a little bit in the intermission there, Chief. But we are going to be throwing this filler pallet here on the outside of Shack, more towards that 5 section of the map, and this RNG is serving us very well. I mean, if you look at that window just in front of us, if we do manage to win the 50, oh my god, that is egregious. And the loop is still long enough for it to be a problem, but we've left and gotten another tag onto Mo, our Claudette, and we're opting to go back to the chase here over at 5, which is quite interesting. Actually, the window was never open and I'm smashed, ignore me, but we do manage to have the window over in Shack to be working with, but we're taking chase in the correct location, which will make it pretty hard for Bug in the long run. We've opted to leave now, but was it a little too late? Potentially. We're going to be getting this eruption proc onto this generator here over at 9 as we do. I thought we were going to chase Zua, but we opted not to. We were going back for our tunnel out onto Hurricane here, or our selected tunnel out at the beginning of the match nonetheless, because he still has not been hooked. And as I say, that Caster's Curse is going to be going down in the corner of 7. That's the first gen procking over at top half of the map. I do believe more towards 2 or 3 as we do pick up Hurricane here. He's going to be slapped on a hook relatively close to us, because look at that Pain Resonance RNG. It is just mighty unfine. It is horrible. I'd hate sometimes this perk is a blessing and a curse at the same time. I'll be so for real. So we're still able to just kind of slam out that generator without a care in the world over somewhere off in the distance. We're not able to work this one here over at 8 or 9, sorry, as we have been pushed off it. It is still pretty close to the hook, so looking at our RNG at this very moment, we do have 7, yes, 7, more towards 9, and I think over at 5, everything else is kind of dispersed over at top, so it is pretty hard to keep on top of. I know this killer has very great traversal mechanics, so maybe he can capitalize on that, but it's far spread for a 3-gen scenario. Again, still manageable. We've seen it been done before, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a pretty nice 4-gen bottoms, all things considered. I'm not too sure if we managed to get back on that top mid-gen. The only concern right now is I do believe Zhua is on... Oh, no, sorry. He is, in fact, on 5, which is going to prove to be a little detrimental if we don't ever go to check it, especially considering the fact that Mo is oh so close by and can get this pull if we are not careful. Bug now will play to body block the hook. He does have a very body blockable hook. It's going to prove to be quite easy. He just needs to make sure he's playing it safe. He's done that exactly. Hurricane goes second. Mo now in chase, but 2 gens will be popping. This will be our tie condition already, but Mo in chase would spell another Pain Res if we are able to get him down. I don't think we're going to do it before that gen pops, and that Pain Res would be hitting absolutely nothing. Wouldn't even take effect if that gen does pop. And I think Zhua now, having popped his gen at 5, will be quickly rotating for that unhook. Cerezia needs to 4K right here, right now to take the game, or at least take us to the tiebreaker with a tie. We have sorted out, I believe, Zhua rotating edge map for this unhook. He's going to get tagged and force a trade now, but Mo heading towards the top side may be joining Zarina to double. They do have a gen left on the top side to work, and that's going to be very, very difficult for them to deal with. Unfortunately, this down onto Zhua cannot be met with a Pain Resonance, so Hurricane, our tunnel out, will be pursued instead. His BT will be waited out. Cerezia following as he makes his way through this tile at 9. We'd only have a couple seconds left. We're not going to be able to make it to anything. This is going to be us on the ground. We just need to hit him now, Bug. Surely you've counted to 15, my friend.
Hit him!
Hit him! Oh my word. So we wasted about 10 seconds doing nothing. And honestly, That is so damning, because look at that Gen Hunter on the HUD. It's about to pop. I don't know if this is a pain resonance, but even if it is, it might not be enough. It's hit! It's hit! And now we have our bounds, but no enrage to make it towards main. I think they're just going to stick it for the win, Hunter. That will be them taking the first set, but it's inches. Inches, if only we were able to make it here.
No.
Now, Mo on the ground. The generator has popped. I believe Arzarena will be the final chase of the game. There's not going to be much they can do. Unfortunately, the Kahoot name tag does not come through, and M1 will do us enough. The Life Vault around main will spell some extra distance, but to no avail. I do think our game will end here and now. Therezia does have his ghoul bounce. He's holed himself, but he does manage to hold himself again. I didn't know that was an interaction that could happen, but instead now cutting off the pickup. We do have the pallet in the way. It's going to buy at least one of us some safety, but the other will shortly be on their feet, and that will be Mo taking the medium vault into main. Now, we do see our Zarina heading towards 10. A few pallets left here, so a chase could still play out, but once again, I do believe this will just be a 4K1. We do have the short side of this filler to play around. Therezia going to try and force the drop and force our Zarina into 50s. Instead, we're just playing so greedy. We know that we realistically can't afford the stun. The distance would be paramount, getting us towards main and potentially another pickup onto Mo, but now with the pallet down, no life in hand, the vaults, the 50s will be all that we can play for. We vault once? We vault once, we vault twice. The swing comes out for the third one and it does not connect. We've won a few, Hunter. Why don't you count how many 50s we win?
I think we're on 150 right now. Oh.
That's it.
Oh, heartbreak here over at Suffocation
Heartbreak.
Pit 1, honestly. It's outrageous we weren't able to get the 4K2. We were so close. I think he just needed to hit, who was it? Hurricane, just a little bit earlier. We counted like, what, 15 seconds, and he's waited an additional 10, which he shouldn't have, because they were stacking main. Like, in any instance, in any normal instance, you just rotate off the gen, or at least one of you do, to go salvage the game over at middle, but they didn't. And if we just managed to capitalize on that fact, just, you know, even 5 seconds earlier, we're able to go back and just hit the one injured guy off of the gen over at main, and then you're just in chase with the healthy survivor. You leave everybody on the floor, and it's just a game of, can you get everybody up and back in the trial, and can you capitalize on that kind of mistake? It was absolutely crucial if we were able to click onto it a little bit earlier, but look, 4K1 is still a very respectable result when you're versing a team like this. He should be...
Almond Lake Mine. If you were involved in OSL Academy, you did get this sneak peek, but it is the first time we are seeing it within Division 1. I, if you weren't aware, may have made this decision, and I am a very big fan of it. I think Lich plays on this map incredibly. It makes for such a fun and entertaining set, and I hope Mango on the Killer is going to be able to deliver us exactly that. We do have our same survivor lineup for Nameless Kings heading on in as Mango has spawned towards 11. A bit of an interesting build, Hunter, already. We're spotting out Wretched Fate in combination with Pop and Eruption. Mango is a very big fan of this perk. He loves to use it, and something he'll also be a big fan of is getting that quick ball onto Mo, spotting him out on the bottom side of the map, but isn't too interested just yet. Instead, spotting out Zhua, Jake, all the way at 1. He does have this God pallet tile to play around, and the pallet now with Zhua Zhone to the edge map will just be broken as we head towards 2. Another set of God pallets, Hunter. Something you hate to see on the Killer side, but love to see for your Jake. We do have the skulls. They barely miss, but with hands still, this setup is not entirely safe. Instead, Mango just trying to get them out of the way will break that bottom side pallet and zone Zhua back to 1. The God window will buy us some safety. Mango not going to be able to hit that narrowly. He believes he's from Mars. Having been from Perth, I don't think he knows the swing distance on ping is not that crazy, son, but the Mage Hand does guarantee us this first tag.
That it does, and we're going to be following up this first chase around here, which has proved to be pretty troublesome. Zua putting on the jets, if we do like to say it here over at OSL. We do have adequate gen pressure in the background too, so they're just slamming out pistons right now. That's going to be 2 gone for, yeah, the first chase, and it's still going as we drop the pallet in front of Mango's face, stunning him in the process. We do have this very strong pallet that we threw straight off the ring, and we even broken it. Oh my god, okay. Well, usually I see that one just get greeted, but I'm a little bit afraid of mage hand, I do believe, so we just wanted to opt to go for the chase time as to oppose of anything else. Do we make the window for a second time? Don't tell me he makes it for a second time. My God, this man is locked right now, and the skulls are missing too. We still got the pallet left up in the bottom bottom main section, sorry. We lose the 50, but we win the 50 there because we've slapped on a whole bunch of wood, and we didn't need to because we didn't take the window vault. We're getting a little bit antsy. I do believe we're going to be able to leave this chase just a little bit Mango now. No, he's opting to just commit it, and he may just overcommit this, so he has to be careful. He's trying to bait out another window vault here to try and block it, but Zua a little too smart for that. I don't know if he still has a pallet upstairs to be working with. He has thrown a lot of resources earlier on in this very strong section of the map, but he's made a great chase out of it as he does go down just after. We're going for a little bit of a head-on save. Oh, that was so close, but we opted to just emerge from the lockers and take the stun, as I'm not too sure if Mango actually knew that we're hiding in that locker, but it does not matter. We'll be getting the pain resonance stack to slow the game down just a little bit. We are heading towards more like mid stages if the pressure is able to kept up in this way, but no, I said no. It looked like no. It's Mo on the Claudette here, just rotating off his generator from main down into the 3 section of the map. Has to greet everything here and play his distance over into the L&T, where he does vault the T and tries to play the check spots very nicely. Does win 150 there and anticipates the skulls coming in, but not quite. And it has came in the correct time. Mango's played that immensely well. Does he hit before the pallet? He has the hand, so it doesn't even matter. We're going to be going down, and Mo has not made the chase that he would have wanted to. We have opted to slug and interrupt the gen here over on the outside of Shack, more towards 4, and we do just throw up some gang signs here to just elect to what spell we want to use a little bit later on before picking up Mo and using that another pain resonance to slow the game down just a little bit more. So it's about taking control now for Mango. This isn't a pain resonance hook, so he just wants to get the hooks on the way and then just go for his next chase and try to make it as quick as possible. But I mean, all credit to the survivors right now. They're actually having some fairly good ones here. Mango does spot somebody out in the far distance. This is Jiang. Oh, well, I want to say Jiang. We'll just call them Zarina for today, but Zarina is just going to be running around the pallet gym there. Doesn't really have a whole lot to be working with over at 7. It is pretty bold, but Mango's opted to leave the chase and go back for the talent out onto Mo. Potentially even main, as we do see it did pop from Azua, but no, we've opted to go all the way down into the shack where Mo is very close to, and he is very vulnerable. He has ran out of the endurance status effect, and we do see his scratch marks leading over towards into 8. We are going to be following up here. He does not have the pallet gym to be working with, but he does have the pallet over at 11. It is still pretty dense around this area, so if we can make correct do with the pallet, this could be troublesome for Mo. We do use the skulls that force us into crash, and he has won the 50 there. He is not able to use the pallet as we do have the mage hand up in time, but do we have enough distance to make the stun? No, we don't. Oh, beautiful stuff from Mango, but really does need the pain resonance here. RNG just needs to be in his favor, and he is over at 9. We're going to be allowed to use that and go back to the gens over towards 3 section and more towards that cluster of gens, but we really need to capitalize from here on out, because right now we are looking at a 3-stage game. We want to potentially pull it back to at least those mid to high tier stages.
Yeah, Mango's really needing to look for a very quick tag. Unfortunately, the skulls do not connect onto Azarina. We managed to initiate the 1v1 mid-trial, and, you know, I think that shows a bit of confidence from Azarina. We're going to be able to get Shack Pallet out of the way, or at least hold it up. That would force a tag as we fast vault out. That Gen at 1 was being dulled and is now popped. We do have one of our survivors. That is our... I actually can't see who it is. I believe it is Hurricane rotating for the unhook. He's going to get it onto Mo very quickly, and Mango is opting to return. I don't think we have the time for this, Mango, and you know what? He agrees. We're back on Zarina. That Shack Pallet out of the way, finally broken and out of the trial. A consolidation as well, I want to point out, is that if Zhua is to wrap a gen, they will be afflicted by Wretched Fate, slowing them down by 33% as Mango continues his chase onto Zarina, looking for yet another pain res stack, as we do also see Mo and Hurricane resetting in the background, potentially playing to ensure that our Zarina here can last as long as possible, taking hits and doing whatever we can. I think Mo actually has been found out in his reset. Our killer Mango has switched, but now back to Zarina after taking a free tag. They're going to greed their way to this God window at 11, but skulls do mean it's not safe. The fast vault does come out. We're going to try and use the skulls to force a down, but now as the vault does come out, the skulls come out, the crouch is also just in time. That Gen at 6 is being doubled. We're going to get potentially the survivor on the ground. There's nothing left for them to play, but it is not in time. Eruption does hit the generator. We need a pain resonance close enough to us to be able to stop that generator, but no, Mango's getting greedy. We've decided to try and chase Mo as he played for a flashlight save instead, now flying towards the generator, and 6 instant pop. Adrenaline picks us up off the ground, Hunter.
No, he should have just went for the pick. He knew he wasn't going to be able to make this gen over in Shaq. You could kind of see the hesitation. I would have agreed on the fact that maybe we do chase Mo, but Mo knew Adrenaline was in play, which is why he played extra offensive, because look, he has 2 stages. It didn't matter if he died. If he just went down and we got the other survivor up with Adrenaline, it was just, we were just up and away. And now we're forced to even take the down on Mo. I don't think anybody's going to be playing for this Palisade because they just want all stages out the door at the moment. Mo doesn't mean anything in this match. It just means the extra stage means it's going to be a 4-stage game at tops. It doesn't even matter. See you later. They'll take the 4 stages. It could have been played so differently if we just picked up at the end there. Coming to you, just pre-leave, or if there's like a really strong window or pallet in your vicinity, make sure that you're at it and you have easy access to it. I know there's some exceptions between different killers who have tremendous movement mechanics which disallow it to be so safe, in particular anything higher than tier 2 and above, but more towards these lower tier killers. I think Lich being in tier 3, or was it tier 4, Chief? I can't remember for the life of me. I know it's one
Tier
of them.
4.
Please, tier 4. Thank you. Even being in tier 4, I think you're more in the clear to be in safe locations and not being a warrior in the world. You did see, I believe it was Mo when he was being tunneled out, bringing us to one of those points in the game over at 11, where he did fail the pallet, all things considered, and all credit due to Mango, but it's more so about taking advantage of making sure that you can create an easy instance for your team where you're not going down in disadvantageous positions, because as soon as you are setting not only yourself up for failure but your team. So you need to be wary of death locations as well. We did point out last time around in their ghoul set that they needed to be dying in the corners instead of dying in the middle of the map. That's what I want to see in this game, because this is a big map yet again, and the corners are detrimental. 11 detrimental, 5 Shack. Like, I think the only dead zone you really have here as far as corners go is 7, because you have the cylinders and they're just horrible to be working with. They break line of sight, but they're not too great. Definitely well workable with the Lich, you know, even though he has the flat mechanic to kind of cover the ground here over at the map. His abilities are definitely counterable, like you had mentioned, Chief, but that being said, nevertheless, we will be seeing our survivors spawn top side of the map, and Mo taking his ground into the middle does spot someone out over at 1 as he had climbed up the stairs and taking the chase over towards 1. It's going to be Mango, who was our killer last game. He has to really turn on the jets here and make amends for the 4 stage. Can he put on the show that we had seen last time around? He does get tagged and has been forced to use this pallet here over at the bottom of main. Now he does have the option to use this very strong pallet here, as we do go for a little bit of elevation tech there. It's not quite connecting, and Mango has done very well to play around that and does opt to drop this pallet very safely. So mighty good stuff from Mango. Now can he hold up the chase as we do take it over towards 11? We are going to be greeting the long side, but we're not opting to use 11 this time around. We're going towards the down part, the ice points. I think this was the misplay, as we probably should have played 11. We have opted to go for a little bit more distance over in the underground. So you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. I think he could have won the pallet at 11, or maybe just extended a little bit more, and it would have prompted even a hit take if we would have needed. We do see somebody preemptively rotating for the save, but everybody again off the generators. And this is what I was talking about, is now you have a hook in front of the most progressed generator. It's a pain resonance. It's regressing. Nobody else is on gens, and it really hurts you in the early game here, Chief.
Yeah, and I think what's more detrimental is that we have 2 mid-gens that were both being worked, and they weren't being doubled. They were both split, and neither have enough progress to have popped for that first generator. And even more detrimental now is that one of them was hit by Painter, the other by Pop. And my word, I've just spotted out, Hunter, we have Dragon's Grip, and that's going to catch somebody really off guard if we aren't too careful. Dragon's Grip is a perk that I like to say isn't the strongest, but can prove so detrimental for newer teams because it is a knowledge check, and knowledge checks are where teams tend to fall short. Unfortunately, falling short as well is the safe unhook. We're going to force a trade. That's 2 of 3 stages needed already at 5 generators. I'm sure we're just going to see a pick another pain res, and we definitely need to guarantee that this hook is either left to sit for as long as possible and then pulled safely, or more importantly now, potentially a flashlight or a pallet save. I think that's actually, Hunter, I was going to talk about when you were talking about, oh no, Mango has gotten so lucky there, has enough distance to make it back up main. The God Pallet is not here any longer, but the window is still available to us. That door will get broken. Mango needs to be oh so careful now. This does make the strength of this window a lot worse, and around to it we go again. We are going to be able to make the vault. We send it already, but unfortunately the delayed vault means Mo has more than enough time to make it around. That's going to be our 3rd hook. We're already at our survivor win condition. They cannot allow another, and we have not popped a generator, Hunter. If we are to do this, we need to get Sendy. We need to see some saves come out. We know that Ellie sitting on Shack has the beamer. We know that everybody can play for pallet saves, and it's what I was alluding to a moment ago, Hunter, when you were talking about good death spots. I don't think that's very important anymore. I think you needed to be dying right in front of your friends on pallets and making sure that those hooks were never gonna come through. Unfortunately, though, thinking of things not coming through, I don't think a save onto Mango can at the moment. We see a reset at Shack. We know that Cerezia has just been tagged at 8. The gen bottom mid that he had 99 for that first chase is still not going to pop. These skulls are heading towards Shack. We need to avoid them because that reset we've just gotten through has been all for nothing. The skulls injuring Slay. Everyone in a terrible position yet again. We really cannot afford to have taken that tag. It's going to probably spell the end of the trial right there. And then Hunter, we do see Ellie running into trade. We're going to play for the best result because a hook onto Ellie will be the win for Mo.
Yeah, it's a sad sight for Envy, but honestly, Mo has done so well to capitalize on the mistakes being made here, particularly, you know, working the middle generators and not doubling them out, like you pointed out a little bit earlier. Look, with no corrupt being brought into the trial, that's what we have to remember. They didn't really have to play for those aggressive generators, and it hurt them in the long run. But regardless, we do need a crazy chase if we are to come back from this game and pull a respectable result. As we do vault the window there, Mango winning that window vault is absolutely crazy. He does still have access to the Shack pallet, but we have our hello. Didn't see you there, but we've greeted it, anticipating the mage hand, and we've won the 50. So we're able to play this very short filler over at 7, but it is very weak. It can be worked around, and we're trying to do a little bit of jiggy, anticipating the skulls and whatnot, but ultimately just going down in the process. This will be Mango out of the game as he is our tunnel out. That's another generator popped for the chase, so you know what? He's done very well for his team to be sure that they're able to at least pull it back to the 4K3. Mo now is just going to be sniffing out his next chase here over at main, but I don't believe anybody would be here, as we do not hear any progression over at the top portion. Now, he's traversing over towards 8 to really try to sniff out some sort of a reset, because we think that is the case. And since, you know, somebody has just turned healthy up in the top bottom left-hand corner, you know that they're somewhere around this bottom half, which we have seen somebody working a generator. There's going to be Bug playing extra aggressive, all in the meantime being injured. So we aren't able to use the pallet there, and we've lost the 50 volt, but we have life to save us. So going for a little bit of a wacky mind game there, Mo, is to catch them out at the pallet, not quite working out, but does win another one. And oh no, we've preemptively vaulted and lost the Shack. That is crucial. So that's going to be the pickup onto Bug. Slow the game down just a little bit more if we have a pain resonance in our area, but we do not have the luxury of so. We do see Slay once again just crouching around the map, ready for the preemptive save. All in the meantime, Ellie just trying to slam out pistons as far from the hook as possible. And that's the pain resonance on the generator over at 1, which forces her to stealth around over at 11, or potentially get in a better spot than just stealthing around, because Mo may traverse over there and just kind of look around 1, but he's opted to just slow the game down even more and protect his hook. Try to press anybody off of 7, as we know that was the last time somebody was working a generator with our sight. Again, Slay just playing the patient game, so the game's come to a little bit of a standstill to where Ellie is putting pressure over at 1. Mo knows it, has to protect his hook at the same time.
So he is closing in on the distance for a cheeky tag if he can get it, and Ellie is denied that. Or has she? No, she's been caught on the opposite side of the pallet over at 1. She relinquished pallet possession, and that is the result of it sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. And she has lost a little bit of... she's got a little bit disoriented with where the window had been placed, because it is a little bit of an awkward tile, but does have windows to see where the pallet is at the very least. Does win the 50, quite strangely enough, but ultimately she can use the pallet to her disposal when she has the means to do so safely. Oh, there goes the hand though, and do we make the window vault? I don't think we do. That was very smart from Mo to be able to realize that and manage to get the down just after the window. We do manage to see the double in the background there. They're really playing for the 4K2 and trying to keep the game alive, but Slay has rotated off their generator, and actually Bug has gone for a split. It's not a double regardless, I do apologize. 1 here is just, it was 1 being worked, which is just right underneath the chase, and 11 is quite a obscure spot to be stealthing around, but we have managed to emerge untouched, and Mo just going around to the middle of the map. So I mean, he's very just in such a good position. I don't really know how to describe it, but Bug will be going down after working extremely aggressive on 7 and now closing in the distance over at the middle of the map. We do see the rotating survivors off of the pull onto Ellie, rather, sorry. Bug still on the floor in the distance, but Ellie playing the check spots very well, ultimately does lose the 50 there. Just had to be a little bit more patient. I think Ellie kind of forgot that the window would be blocking a lot of Mo's pathing there, so she did not have any real reason to vault that pallet. Regardless, a little bit shaky, sometimes it does happen, and she will be on death hook to be out of the trial, meaning our survivors here, it's looking pretty grim for them. You have 1 injured, that's just a 1 hit down if they manage to be found out, and you do have just 1 fully healthy, so the fully healthy survivor is the ideal survivor you want to chase like this if you're playing for the last generator, and you just have the injured person slam out the last set of pistons over at 7. But I mean, Mo might be a little bit too smart for that. Regardless of if he gets the tag or not, he'll just count his seconds. If he doesn't get the tag, doesn't get the down, he'll go back to the gen, and then since 7 is just so bold, you'll just get the down if the person is injured, regardless. It's all hindsight, because as we see it as it currently stands, it's going to be Slay playing for the gen over at 7 and Bug going on something a little bit more just never worked realistically, and just sniffing out here over at 7. It's going to be a long and grueling game, considering that Slay's done really well to manage to stealth around 8. Does Mo pick up on it? Potentially. Might even catch line of sight here in just a bit. No, does not do so. So he is happy to just kind of look around the other gens that potentially could be worked in this very instance. Over at 3 is where the pressure is, or is it over at 1? Sorry, I'm so disoriented, but I do believe it's over at 1. It's going to be a rinse repeat until basically we chop it up to the 4K3 here, I think, Chief.
Yeah, I think it's the most likely result right now. We aren't too aware of when Mo is. The skulls come out as we unfortunately spot him right on our tail, and that will be Bug on his hook. A second hook for him of the trail, and maybe the last one we're going to see of the game. Slay was all the way over at 7, was afflicted by Dragon's Grip, and may still be exposed if we are not careful, but they will take their distance with Urban towards 6. They are not exposed, at least, so they will be able to have a bit of a chase, but Mo right on their tail, nearly spotting them out, only inches away as we head towards the generator, making sure it wasn't going to pop for a stick, and now Slay will rotate for this unhook completely for free. I'm not too sure Mo has flyback just yet, so the unhook will come out. The 2v1 is still occurring, but that crow flying up towards mid 2 has given away the position of Neri. And unfortunately, Bug, Cerezia now has a camera bug. How fitting. As Slay does take this hit towards 3, having to play around the Serpentile if they were pursued, but no, Mo will head towards main and try to get Cerezia out of the trial. We're not going to be able to see what he's doing because, as you can see there, the roof is what we're licking. He will greet this pallet mid-10 heading towards a stronger filler, but I'm not too sure if he has the distance. His aerial view is actually doing us some favors in that regard. The skulls have been pulled out. We haven't been able to avoid them, and Bug now will greet towards the window at 9. He's going to be able to make that with life and play back around if he so chooses, but if we send the vault on the outside, we're not going to be able to make it towards the team now. That will be us down through the pallet, and Neri on 7 will not be caught out just yet. Mo opting to head towards 1, but do think there's really not much we can do. The rotation can be seen from the top side of main, but we're actually opting to check the gen quite aggressively. We wanted to kick it and get at least it regressing, which has allowed Neri once again to rotate for this pickup. The 2v1 still not over yet. All we needed to really do was pick Bug. I think Mo was a little worried of a wrap of that generator, because that chase definitely could have been enough to see that generator pop. But Mo now back to 10 on Cerezia, who's playing around these double pallets quite nicely. Mage Hand is back. It could lead to our demise, but the greed will send us towards the hole which we will not make. Cerezia on the ground yet again. This could be him exiting the trial finally, as we do see Mo pick him up. Neri all the way at 7 yet again. That's a very interesting perspective. I haven't seen that before. I've obviously seen the Survivor, but we're like an RC car just riding around in Almond Lake Mine. How interesting. But no, Mo will send his orb towards 1. We will hopefully be able to spot out Neri, who's already at Shack playing for Hatch. At least a consolidation prize for Envy's survivors, as they are getting 4k3. Obviously, the win condition was met.
Well,
Wow. I think the skulls were just in case Neri was already standing on the hatch getting down. I don't think that would have mattered, because you know you can still escape through the hatch if
they get it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I don't understand the misplay there. You just stand on the hatch. Doesn't matter if you go down. Like, you just crawl through the hatch, no?
Yeah, you can. I don't really understand it either. I think it was probably a bit of nerves. Not that it mattered. At the end of the day, right, the hatch does not matter. It was all a consolidation. It didn't really matter anything. And I think, at least for the